Okay friends, good morning. We're here at Baylor Beach Park where our last video left you off, and you can expect a full review of the campground coming up here in a few weeks. Just wanted to show you around real quick. We do have a full hookup site, which is odd for us. Generally, we just end up with water and electric, and actually the next place we're going, that's all we have. But since we were here 4 nights, we thought it'd be a good idea to have a sewer hookup. And our site's pretty big. That's actually our fire pit over there. Hopefully you can see that. And then the water park is across the way over there. But in this video, we're going to take you biking at the Erie and Ohio Canal Towpath, and we're also going to take you to see a Revolutionary War fort. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Okay, good morning friends. Hopefully you can see and hear me while I'm riding my bike. We are doing the Erie and Ohio Canal Towpath Trail, and we parked at the McDonald family trailhead, which is just down the road from here, because there's a section of trail that they're working under construction, so we had to bike on the road a little bit to get back on the trail. But this should be, we're thinking it should be a pretty neat trail, and there's a Revolutionary War fort that we're gonna go take a tour of. And so we'll show you around the fort, and we'll show you anything else that's interesting that we might see. It's a canal, so there should be locks or something if it's anything like towpath trails we've done before. So are you enjoying biking? Perfect. Alright, so what we've been doing so far, we're basically just biking on the sidewalks through this town of Bolivar, and maybe a few residential streets, things of that nature. It's a nice little town. I'm pretty sure wherever the canal was originally is where the interstate is, which is that way. This is the Fort Lawrence Cemetery. I'm not sure if the people buried here are people that fought at the fort, or if it's just a cemetery for the general vicinity. But over here is the Fort Lawrence State Memorial, so we're gonna go check that out. Fort Lawrence was the only continental military fort in what would later be Ohio.
Against the British-held Fort Destroy. They put it here because it had to be a certain distance from the Great Crossing on the Tuscarawas River. So they weren't allowed within a certain distance of that river, the Great Crossing.
So it sounds like the cemetery across the road is just a local cemetery. And then this here would actually be the cemetery for the fort. These look to be the tombs, however, it seems like the tombs were excavated and the bodies are located in a nearby. A museum nearby. So there's a museum which has the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and this is where the cemetery would have been for the actual fort. Yeah. So there is a museum here, but it's only open Wednesday to Saturday, and also holidays. So, unfortunately, we're not going to get to see it, but if you come here, it would probably be worth seeing. We're trying to get the lay of the land here. This stone bridge seems like it takes you over top of what was the canal. And from what I could read on that faded sign over there, the river is actually where the interstate is now. So there was the canal, then there was the river. The river was the defense for Fort Lawrence. So when they built the interstate, they moved the river, and I'm not actually sure where the river is currently. But this is the canal, and then where the museum is over there is kind of the edge of the fort, and the fort would have stretched off to the right of where the museum is. If that makes any sense. All right, so friends, this is actually more like what we expected to be biking on. Here's the towpath, and over there is the canal. And if you've been following us a while, you know that we've biked a lot on the C&O Canal. And back when I was in Scouts, I pretty much did the entire C&O Canal, I think, except for the section in Washington, D.C. Up until I started researching this canal, I didn't realize how many canals there were spread across the Northeast. And this canal actually connects to the Pennsylvania Canal, which the Allegheny Portage Railroad showed you when we were at Blue Knob. That was the portage for that canal, the Pennsylvania Main Line Canal. So that was connected to this canal system. So it's all pretty intertwined, just like our roads and highways and railroads and things of today are. Okay friends, so this is lot 7. These are pretty much built the same as the ones on the C&O, although it looks like there was a little bit more use of concrete in this compared to the mostly stone structures on the C&O. This is the other end of the trail. There's really nothing to see here. I think I said it's State Route 212. We'll probably overlay a map somewhere in this and let you know exactly where we're at. But yeah, we're gonna bike back to the other side. As you can see, we've done about 6 miles because Fort Lawrence is essentially where we started. So. Friends, as you can see, Sarah is done with the bike trip. But I don't think that she's going to run like this for 3 miles the whole way back. So, at some point, we're going to have to get her back in. So, we just finished up and we're headed back to Baylor Beach to go swimming. And I don't know, that's pretty much our day. In summary, that section of the trail, it was pretty smooth surface and it was pretty level the whole way. We did 6 miles out and 6 miles back. But we realized that we went downhill first and uphill second, which is the opposite of what you want to do. So when you plan these bike trips out, you should plan it so that you go uphill first and then downhill on the way back. So good morning everybody. We have made it to Lehman's, which is this big building here, and it's a pretty neat store, antiques and things of that nature, so we're pretty excited about it. We'll show you around. You said they're butternut?
Yeah, see what the carving blocks, they're all carved out of a block like this. That's crazy. And they're all so intricate.
Check these out, friends. Is that an outdoor cooking table?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Definitely, friends, endless supply of cast iron and other camp cooking stuff here. Lots of canning supplies, which is one of the things that we're kind of here for. Not a birdie? You like your birdie? That's good. It's incredibly busy in there, so we weren't able to really film much because there's just people everywhere.
It's so odd, like a Tuesday in the middle of the week.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a Tuesday afternoon. I guess it is afternoon. It'd be this busy, but it's just the way it is, I guess.
Matthew, coming?
Woo! Come here.
Alright, good morning everybody. It's Wednesday and we're biking. We started at the Towpath Court trailhead slightly north of Massillon, and we're attempting to bike to Lake Lucerne, but I'm not sure if we'll make it there or not. It's like 9 miles up and it'll be 9 miles back. So it's really quite cool this morning. Rachel said it was like 46 degrees when we woke up, which I think is unseasonably cool for Ohio in the month of June. But it's really good weather for biking. It's a really pretty morning. They said only gonna get up to like 72 or 73 degrees later this afternoon, which is gonna be a little cool for swimming. So that kind of stinks, but it does make for good biking weather. Definitely not gonna get too sweaty this morning, even if we do make it the whole 18 miles. Everybody, we're currently at Crystal Spring, which is just a small town that grew up because of the canal. It was originally called Millport, and the canal basically caused it to prosper. So there was originally a grist mill, but became a brewery, and they shipped the beer on the canal to Massillon for bottling. And then after that, the brewery burned down in 1925. The grist mill / cider mill was built. It still stands today, so that's cool. Alright, so friends, right now we're at the Butterbridge Road trailhead. I think we've done, what, 4 miles? Probably?
I think there's only 3 left. 6.
But what we've kind of been noticing is if you compare this to like Pennsylvania, the river itself is really like flat and kind of slow moving water, and there's quite a few boat launches, and I really think it would be excellent to kayak on this river, because if you tried to go upstream, there's not a lot of current you'd have to fight. So like if you didn't want to have to park 2 vehicles in 2 spots or whatever, but it really does look like it would be fun to kayak. We didn't bring ours this trip, but I think if we come back to this area, we're definitely going to try to do some sort of boating.
It's the 4th lock south of Summit Lake, built in 1827, made of stone. It's 16 feet wide, 90 feet long. They stopped using it in 1913. And then when they restored it in 1908, they used concrete instead of stone.
But this building, I'm assuming, is a lockkeeper's house. I haven't read that yet, but it's something we were talking about that we were surprised that we haven't seen yet at any of the locks that we seen the other day. There was no
Toll road, water toll road. Huh.
So if we were living back then, we would have probably avoided this because we don't like paying tolls.
Oh, so this is that not all locks had lock pensions. A lot of them were operated by the boat crews. So this is just a replica.
So on this canal, apparently not all the locks were operated by lock keepers. On the C&O though, there were lock keepers at just about every one. But so this is a pretty good depiction of how these locks worked, right? So they would open these gates and the water would flood in. They'd have them closed on the other side and it would raise the water in the lock. And then they would close these gates back up like they are now and open the other ones and the boat would go down. This is a dry dock for the canal, and they built this so they could take the boats in there and put them on them wooden pads to work underneath them. So they had a way that they could raise the water like a lock, float the boat in, and then they would drain the water out, and the boat would be freestanding on the wooden blocks. So friends, you can actually ride this boat Thursdays and Saturdays is when it's open, and the museum is also open on Thursdays and Saturdays, so that's pretty cool. You would get to see how the canal operated back in the day, and there actually is some signage here in case you were wondering about the Ohio canals. The Ohio Erie Canal, which is what this one is, was built in 1834 and closed in 1913. And there's a map of Ohio, and it shows you all the different canals. Friends, I thought that there might be more to see up here, but there really isn't. But this is the Lake Lucerne, and what I was just telling Rachel is these canals must have been incredibly difficult to build, you know, because not only do you have to dig a giant ditch for boats, which they did all by hand, but then you had to dam up the Great Lakes and have water supplied. Alright everybody, so this is a bridge outside Crystal Springs. It's along the bike trail. It was built in 1913. So I mean, it's been here for over 100 years, which, you know, it kind of looks more modern than something that is 100 years old. But, here's Sarah. Here's the stream. And like I said before, it'd be excellent for kayaking or canoeing. It really looks like you could have a lot of fun doing that. Okay, friends, we made it. We're done. We actually did 18 miles, which is actually a little bit more than what we did the other day, but it seemed like it was an easier ride. So that's good. But there was kind of less maybe to see on this section of the trail, so we rode longer and saw less. Friends, we're back here at Fort Laurens. We just drove back here. We wanted to try to check out this museum that was closed the other day. Cool.
It's pretty big, isn't it?
right through where the fort was, and this is where the interstate currently runs. What did we learn at Fort Lawrence?
It was really neat. I mean, there's only 180 men. That was interesting. It's a different experience in Fort Necessity. I grew up near Fort Necessity, so this was what, the furthest west Revolutionary fort, or the only one in Ohio?
I think both. I think it was the furthest west and the only one in Ohio. So, as far as I can tell, it was the only one that was the Americans. The British had Fort Detroit, which was further west and further north. So this fort was basically built to defend against Fort Detroit, and then it kind of ended up being a failure due to lack of supplies, lack of manpower coming from Pittsburgh. So, but it was cool. So it was definitely worth going to the museum. Like I think we said, they're open Wednesday through Saturday, I believe. So definitely, if you're trying to come, that's when you should come. So friends, we just left Baylor Beach, and we're headed to the Hocking Hills KOA, because we're going to explore the Hocking Hills area and some caves and stuff. Still trying some different angles with the GoPro, trying to get things right for you, so someone can let me know in the comments what they think is best. Other than that, we'll show you anything interesting we see on our trip today, and we're going to go for a hike as soon as we get there and get set up.